is probably going to ruffle some feathers. My name's Dana, and I'm a 34-year-old DINK, and my husband and I do not share our finances, and we split nearly all of our expenses almost 50-50. And before I go and I really piss off the may this love never find me girlies, this is what works for us. This is what works for us, me, my own relationship, not yours. So if this doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. And I'm not judging you. And I'm not saying that this is the only or the right way to do things. This is just what works for us. I also think it's like really important to call out that due to my specific upbringing, I never grew up with this rose-colored glasses vision that I was just going to marry a man one day and he was going to pay for anything. I'm so happy if you had a childhood that supported that type of belief, but I grew up in the real world. So what does it mean if my husband and I don't share our finances? It means we don't have a shared bank account. I have my bank account, he has his bank account. We have a talk about money every single month, and all of the bills get paid. Some get paid from my bank accounts, some get paid from his bank accounts. And we have distributed those bills amongst ourselves in a way that is equal and equitable to our situation and both the income that he and I earn. My husband and I have been together for almost 8 years. For the majority of our relationship, we did not have significant pay disparity between the two of us. We generally made around the same amount of money with little discrepancy here and there. In the last couple of years, I have significantly out-earned my husband. And since then, we have shifted some of our bills and expenses away from being 50-50 to, honestly, we're now in a situation where depending what the bill or the expense is, I pay more because
Oh, that's gonna piss people off. That's gonna ruffle some feathers. Honestly, I don't really see it being any different than putting it all in one pot and just paying all of the bills. The only difference that I really see is that each person has autonomy to kind of do what they want to do with their money, as long as they continue to communicate effectively about how they're going to pay the bills. And part of that communication is to see exactly how much he makes, how much she makes, and then that's where they shift wherever it is that they're going to allocate the resources or who's going to pay the lion's share of whatever it is that's happening at that particular moment. But that's going to really piss people off because I've already seen a bunch of women that was in her comments before I even reviewed this video that you guys sent me that said, may this type of love never find me. They said exactly what she said that they were going to say. Now, I personally am the type of person that don't believe in 50-50 and none of that type of stuff. I just believe that roles and responsibilities, you can't necessarily always quantify that, right? So if I am the person that brings in a majority of the resources, and because I'm a man and because I am a kind of a throwback type of guy, then I am going to pay all of the bill. Like I'm not looking to distribute it or whatever, and I may give you a little bit of responsibility. And then I also, make sure that you get and take care of whatever it is, and you got access to the credit card and all of that, because the value that you may bring to me may be something a little bit more intangible. I can't place a value on raising my daughter. I can't place a value on what you've done for my companies or whatever, so on and so forth, right? So, what works for me is I take care of everything. I don't want you focusing on money. And then I also communicate effectively. But what works for her and them is to have separate bank accounts and all of that, right? And so I believe in having multiple different bank accounts. You got yours, I got mine, we got a joint one, or you got access to this or whatever, so on and so forth. And then that's how you're able to do things effectively. But I do think that there's more than one way to skin a cat. This may not preferably be mine because I want complete control over what happens with the money. Other people think that this works for them, because this is more of a partnership. And I think that people are absolute. It's a lot of women that are 100% disgusted with even the suggestion, right? With even the suggestion that they should pay half, let alone the lion's share of all of the bills, all of the resources, all of the responsibilities. And of course, I'm going to include this, on a live stream tonight when we jump into after hours. But let's continue with what she got to say.
I make more. Opening a shared bank account was just never important to us. No, we're not zelling each other back and forth for everything. Sometimes we need to send money or move money around, and that's fine. But honestly, what this comes down to is just really, really open communication between myself and my husband, and giving each other a full picture, a full financial picture into what the other is earning and spending on. The other truth is that for us, outside like our shared household bills, we don't really care what the other spends money on. My husband knows like what my hobbies are. I know what his hobbies are. I spend more on clothing and skincare and things like that. He spends more on his boat and hobbies and fishing and boy stuff like that. And he doesn't judge me for what I spend my money on, and I don't judge him for what he spends his money on. We also have very, very clear long-term goals set out with each other. We have agreed what those goals are. We have the magic numbers that we're trying to save towards, whether it's retirement or an epic vacation somewhere, retiring early, all those sorts of things we've agreed upon together, and we've agreed upon based on how much we individually make, who needs to be contributing how much to those goals each month. We do not nickel and dime one another. We both contribute to our mortgage. We both pay for groceries. We both pay for fuel and insurance and everything that our two automobiles require. We pay and share everything for our dog. It is all still shared, even though it is not coming out of a shared bank account. Again, I know that's the ideal scenario for some of you out there, but this is what works for us.
And I also want to remind y'all, because I forgot to do this earlier, that DINK means dual income, no children. You don't have to, or no kids. Dual income, no kids. That means that everything goes to them. It's not parsed out and allocated towards whatever else is going on or whatever, or to try to do this. And I think that this actually works when you don't have children, when the woman don't have to take time off of work, right? It works when you both are gainfully employed for an extended period of time. The problem is when you go broke or when you ain't got no money and when you got to start figuring out what that looks like, then it starts to get a little bit more dicey.
I am also like a type A control freak. I am somebody who loves money. I love money. I love personal finance. I love being super involved in the nitty-gritty details. I love sticking to a budget. So keeping all of the control over my own budget, and then also having full visibility into his budget should I need it or want it, which for the most part I don't, because we have full trust with one another. This just works for us. Anytime there's a large financial decision or purchase on the horizon for us, it always just means that we're going to be having a lot of conversations, and those conversations are easy for us. I might even go as far to say that for us, they're fun. Like, we genuinely look forward to it. If you're a DINK, how do you and your partner handle finances?
I don't really see any problem with what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's different ways, again, to skin a cat. What works for them may not necessarily work for other people. And the reason why a lot of women is saying, may this type of love never find me, is because they don't want the responsibility of having to work. They want to do what they want to do with their own money. And then they want him to be able to take care of everything or to pay everything with his money. So they want him to go out there and kill himself, even if they don't deserve it or they don't qualify for that type of guy. And then they want to be able to do what they want to do when they get ready to. So, of course, you're going to have people that disagree. But I think that most people are disagreeing based off of their preferences. As long as it's working for them and as long as it seems like they getting along, I don't really see any problem with it. But let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. Of course, I'm going to link back to the content creators inside of the chat because that's the right thing to do. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.